Hello, everyone. It's William here. And look at this. The screen hasn't flipped for the first time in a while. Thank you all for being here. If you're here, please say hi in the comments and please like and share and do all that good stuff. Let's kick off the night right. Um, Thank you for joining us. Hello, Susie. Thank you for joining. Marianne is here, says, hi, all from a chilly Edmonton. It's a mixture of showers and flurries, 38 degrees here. Here it is 46 degrees here right now. Harry is here. Hello, Harry. Thanks for joining in. Says it's 58 degrees and cloudy here in Iowa. Marianne says, I wish it was 58 here. I bet. Kimberly is here. Says, hi, everyone. 51 here in Kansas City, or in Kansas. Harry says, it might be cold, but at least you have not a crazy leader. Ain't that the truth? Angela is here. Hello, Angela. Thank you for joining in. Let's see. They've got a bunker as a prime minister. Oh boy. Oh, what did you do to fix the orientation issue? I didn't do anything. Did not do a thing. Just got lucky today, I think, Kimberly. That's it. Marianne says, done. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. Suzanne is here. Hello, Suzanne. Says, we're expecting a drop in temps on Wednesday. Yeah, I don't know what. I have tried not to look too much at the weather. For the rest of the week, I know we're today was actually a really nice day. We were at 57 degrees today, and it's going to be in the low 50s for most of this week. Thursday, it's going to go up to 58. That should be a nice day, but it's supposed to rain. But we need the rain. I was driving today over to Latrobe or Latrobe, depends how you say it here. And there is a river that runs through it, and it was very, very low, like no running water, hardly at all. So we definitely need the rain. It's good to get rain before winter, before the ground freezes, so that anybody who's on a well, or just so that there's groundwater. I heard there's a terrible storm heading to Jamaica, I think, which I had not heard about. My aunt told me about it today in passing. So apparently that's a terrible storm coming through there, or hurricane coming through. So I don't know if we have any viewers out there, but we'll send our good wishes out to everybody there. Norma is here, says 50 here, trying to watch on my phone while getting dinner ready. Nice. Hurricane Melissa, says Marianne. Yikes. Yeah, so that's not so great. But lots going on here. We are, of course, getting ready for Italy. That's in like 8 days, 9 days, something like that. We're going to be leaving. So that's a lot. There's a lot going on there. Planning and making sure we have everything for that. This weekend is Halloween, right? What day is Halloween actually on? It's on Friday. So Friday night is Halloween. And we have a show that we're doing in Johnstown at Bottleworks called Hexenfest. And so we're going to be there for that. I think it's 6 to midnight. It's a late night show. So I don't know what's going to happen. I've never done a show like that, but it's kind of our times period. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. And we'll see how it goes. Who knows what's going to happen? I know a lot of people might be trick-or-treating, or a lot of people might be doing other things. I don't know what kind of crowd they're going to draw, being on Halloween day, and being a Friday night Halloween. Sometimes if Halloween's on a different day, it shifts, and so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. Um, I don't know what is happening on Saturday if Andrew got signups. Um, he had a glittering powder coated ornaments class at Contemporary Craft on Saturday. So I don't know where that stands. I haven't heard yet. I don't know if he's heard yet. So it is powder coating ornaments for the holidays. Um, his class last Saturday for the creature feature, the polymer clay face sculpting was canceled because we didn't have enough people for it. So I'm hoping that people decided to sign up for this one instead, and that's why. And we'll go, but we'll see. Also, apparently on Sunday, I just saw this, daylight savings time ends. Um, is that true? That's what my calendar says. Yep. Um, that's what my calendar's saying anyway. So that's on Sunday. So there's a lot going on. This week is just going to be busy trying to get things out. Andrew has some meetings. Um, he's going to do a type of panel discussion, I think, on Wednesday. He's right now working on that project still. So he's probably not going to be visiting us up here. So it's just you and me, y'all. But we're gonna have some fun. I have some new things for you and some favorites of mine here that I pulled from the office. It's gonna be a light day, meaning nothing of significant, super high value. We're not getting into spending lots of money today. So it's going to be a super easy day. We've got some new charms in, which we think you'll really like. Andrew picked out some really cute new charms. So we're going to have those. And then I pulled some of my favorite things just as I was looking through things today. Some of the things that struck me as I like, oh, we need to show these again. So that's all today's going to be. It's going to be super easy, super chill. Nice way, I think, to enter into the week. And of course, every bit purchased, even though it's a low dollar value day, it is going to be used for the Italy trip and to help us survive while we're away for 2 weeks there. Um, we have everything booked. We've got our passports. We've got the Airbnb booked. I think we mentioned that, but if we didn't, we do have that booked. We've got our flights booked. My mom is going to drive us back and forth to the airport, so we don't have to stash our car there for the entire time we're gone. And yeah, we're excited. It's not hit me yet, I guess. It's still um, it's still a when trips are work, like it takes work to get ready for them. It's still in the work phase, and I'm not in the it's here and it's time to relax phase yet. We're still trying to make money to keep things going while we're gone, pay our bills while we're gone because we're not going to be able to do lives like this or anything like that. We'll probably have an online store sale, probably maybe. I'm hoping to get some new things into the online store before then. And also, I started a D-stash this weekend. So if you missed that, so far it has been the Indonesian glass and um, the decoupage beads from the trunk show that we have right now. So if you missed those lives, it's a good chance to check those out in the Andrew Thornton Project D-Stash group on Facebook. Let me check some comments while I'm chit-chatting away. Kimberly says, this is my favorite live because a particular member of the community that is cray cray has not found my sanctuary. Oh, good. I hope if they're cray cray, maybe they've already found us and left. That's also a possibility. We don't deal very well with cray cray here. We've had some throughout the years, and they don't generally last very long. So maybe they've already been here and gone. That's a possibility too. But thankfully, all of our people are great. Kimberly says, and you are all amazing. That's awesome. So I don't want to share you guys. That's funny. Um, Suzanne says late night is appropriate for Halloween. I thought so too. I think it's going to be a super fun thing, but we'll see. I think for people who are not doing trick or treating, don't have kids, I think it could be a very cool place to go instead. So get some art, get some shop local stuff going on. It's there's a lot of talk about the holidays this year, and trying to make sure you shop local instead of corporate for the holidays this year. And I think this will be a good kind of start to the season with this late night Halloween show. So I hope people show up for it. Um, Melissa doesn't seem quite right for a major storm since it means honey, right? Yeah, it does not. Doesn't seem right. And I also know some Melissas, and generally they're very, very nice people. So that's why when you said the name, I was like, oh, because most of the Melissas I know are actually really nice and not storm worthy. Hello, Susan. Thank you for joining us. Oh, Andrew is there. One sign up so far. I will check in on Wednesday if they'll run it. So just one sign up for the powder coating class. That's kind of a shame, but also if that one is canceled, um, we could use the extra time. So either way, Andrew says I'm kind of hoping they cancel it. Yeah, I could see that. Susan says Melissa's a monster trying to send healing energy to the people in the storm's path. Yes, that's what we said earlier. It is definitely, um, yeah. Um, Susan says, Kimberly, sorry you have to deal with someone like that. Andrew says, too much going on right now, to be honest. I can't imagine going to a show until 1:30 in the morning and then waking up early to do the class. Yeah, right? Yeah, because, we'll be at the show until midnight. They never end exactly on time. Then you have tear down time, and then drive home time. So it'll take at least 45 minutes or so probably to tear down. Um, and then the drive home is, about 30, 35 minutes or so. So yeah, being around to 1:30, 2 in the morning, and then getting up early at 7 or so for the class, kind of difficult. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Um, Marion says, do I need to ward that person off AG, Kimberly? Who knows, right? Maybe we did that already. Maybe we did. Susan says, Halloween, we'll be watching classic movies and eating homemade pizza. Sounds great. Sounds great. Marion says you will love Italy. I think we will too. I'm just, like I said, still in the getting there, like we gotta get there mode. And not quite in the ready to enjoy it yet mode. Suzanne says, better bring back treats for the cat, says you'll be gone for 2 weeks. I know. I had a nightmare last night. Let me just tell you. I literally woke up panicked. And you know what my nightmare was? That we had to leave. So before our Italy trip in my nightmare, we had to leave to go down south for something else. I don't know if it was a class we were teaching, but it was something that I didn't that kind of came up for us. And we were like, we gotta go early. And we had to like throw everything together. We weren't gonna have a chance to get back home before we left for Italy. And I was running around. We were like pushing ourselves out the door because we had to go like right now. It had to go, we had to leave, and I didn't get to say a goodbye or see you to all of our cats. And that is what that is what made me have a nightmare. I literally woke up panicked because I was worried that I didn't get to say goodbye to all my cats, and they weren't going to know that we were going to be back because I talked to them. I talk to our cats before every trip. I talk to them before I leave for the day. I make sure that I see them all before I leave for the day. And I usually try and say goodbye to each of them on a normal day when I'm not rushing around too much. I try to say goodbye to each of them for the day and let them know that I'll be back later. And so before a big trip, I always let them know that we're going to be gone for this amount of time and you're going to see this many days and this many nights, and then we should be back. I don't know if they understand, but I try to let them know that. And my nightmare and my panic attack in the middle of the night, woke up anxious from it, was that we had to leave. I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't get to see all my cats, like see them before I left. Because I like to see them, count them, make sure nobody's stuck in a room, make sure nobody snuck out the door, all that kind of stuff. I like to make sure that they're all like roaming the house freely before I leave. And so I woke up panicked. That was my That's how attached I am to the cats. It's gonna be hard for me to be gone for 2 weeks from the cats. Um, Smoky Cat is demanding all the attention, says Susan. Oh boy. Um, let's see here. Oh, comments just jumped. Um, once we get extra cash and then go to the bank and get euros. My mom was asking about that, Andrew, and everything we read on the internet is to get cash through the ATM when you get to Italy. They said do not go to the bank because the exchange rate is, or the processing or whatever the extra that you pay is actually higher going to the bank to get euros than going to the ATM at the airport. And when I was in France, a long time ago, I do remember that I got euros from the ATMs there. So everything we were reading was saying don't go to the bank, um, go to the ATMs because the exchange, there's not as much fees, there's not as many fees because I think the bank has extra fees because they got to bring in the euros. So they said to just go to the ATM at the airport. Um, Andrew's wondering who's the cray cray, Kimberly. Mary says we can hope that's true, William, right? They already came and went, hopefully. Susan says it's 55 there with light rain. Um, Andrew says there's live music at the show, so we'll see. Leslie's here. Hello, Leslie. Thanks for joining us. Marion says the only Melissa I know is very sweet too. Suzanne says I might read tarot on Halloween. Nice, that'd be cool. Andrew says there's not much time between event ending and the start of the class. It's a lot of energy to do a show and then a lot of energy to teach. Yes. Marion says it was my favorite place my sister and I visited on our European adventure. Nice. We're going to be in the Florence area. That's where we're mainly staying in Certaldo in Florence. And then Andrew's going to be doing his thing, and I'll be exploring Certaldo probably. And maybe if I get on a bus and do a neighboring town or something while he's doing his thing, or maybe get a bike and ride around. Who knows? I don't know what I'll do. But then when he's done with his workshop, we're going to get on some trains probably and visit other parts of Italy that are day trip possibility, right? Andrew says, start saying goodbye now. He doesn't extend to stay goodbye. People blame me for being late. I do an extend to stay goodbye for our cats. When we're out at an event, though, I am, what do they call it? The Irish goodbye. When we're in an event, I'll just be like, I'll just disappear. I don't always say goodbye to everybody, especially when we're at a bigger event. And Andrew tends to do that. Andrew is the one that then will go around and say goodbye to everybody. I'm one of those people that's just like, duck out, goodbye. So yeah. Susan says, do you ever feel guilty leaving your cats? I know I do. Then again, I'm the one who strained a shoulder because I didn't have the heart to move them. Yes, I feel very guilty leaving our cats for any amount of time, more than a day. So it is hard for me. It's very hard for me. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, these things the comments keep really jumping. I make a group bye-bye to the cats. If they're together, I make a group bye-bye, but they're usually spread around. So I usually try and make sure I pet each one, say goodbye for the day. Yeah, especially if we're going for, more than a day, then I gotta give them hugs. I gotta give them kisses. I gotta treat each one and make sure I see each one. And yeah. Lennis says, we do that too. I call it counting the potatoes. 4 free range cat potatoes before we leave the house each time. Yeah, because if I leave the house for more than a day, if it's just me going to work, I can deal with not seeing them when I first leave. But if we're going for more than a day, I don't want them to be. I know we have, Susie helps us watch the cats, and sometimes my mom comes down. But I don't want them stuck in a room, or because we close up some of our rooms all the time, and I don't want anybody to get stuck in any of them, because sometimes when we're dashing around grabbing things from room to room before we leave someplace, I want to make sure I see everyone. Susan says, I always say goodbye to our boys. Hubs thinks that it's silly They don't understand Smokey is punching my side, by the way. Yeah, I'm that one. Andrew, he's like, let's go. And I have to say goodbye to each one. That's me. Um, Andrew says, my mentor said it's good to bring some cash in cash if you need anything, or in cash in case you need anything. Yeah, I don't know. Everything I read said the bank is super much more expensive to do the exchange. And I don't know that every bank has euros, but we'll see. We can talk to our bank and see. Kimberly says, I will share that name privately, Andrew. All right. Yeah, we don't want to conjure them, right, by saying their name. Marianne says, I think your hubby is wrong, Susan, right? I think so too, says Susan. Um, Andrew says, there are tarot readings at the show also. Nice. Nice. There's a lot going on there. Cinnamon just chirped. I think it means hello, Barnaby. Barnaby is not here, but maybe he can hear me through Andrew's phone. I don't know. Andrew, tell Barnaby Cinnamon's saying hello. Let's see here. So this is, I'm so excited for you both, Andrew and William. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Marion says, we were in Florence, Verona, and spent the night in Venice, which is harder to do now. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna be in Florence. I am hoping, one of my hopes is that we get to Venice. I've always wanted to see Venice. It is a longer trip. It might be somewhere where we have to spend a night if we go and do it, depending on trains and buses and all that. But we'll see. Venice is a place that I've always wanted to see ever since I was a kid. We haven't really talked about where all we each want to go, but we've been watching, we watched Emily in Paris, and she went to Rome, and then it got me thinking about how, like, I was like, oh, Rome, I know there's like, you should see the Colosseum and all that while you're there. But Venice is all like, if I had to pick one, probably would be Venice. But then I started looking at Rome through that show, and I was like, oh, we need to see Rome maybe too. Um, let's see. Beads Flowers. I tried to reach you before. I'm a manufacturer. Oh, this is not the place to do that. If you'd like to try to reach us, email us info@allegorygallery.com. It's up here. We don't take solicitations on the live though. Thank you so much though. We appreciate you watching. I do the everyone buy thing, says Susan, which means I wind up staying 2 times as long. I know. Oh, at an event and stuff. Yeah, that's the place I get out. I'm like, we've done our thing. We've already talked to all the people. We don't need to go and find them all again to say goodbye to them all again. Like, I feel like when you talk to somebody at a show, or if you're in an event and you've talked to somebody and you've parted ways and you go move to talk to somebody else, that's the goodbye. That there is like, you've done your talking. There's no real expectation, I think, that we have to see each other again until the next event, or, like, not to be rude or like you're done seeing them. Sometimes you have a really good time, but when you move on to someone else, I feel like that's already the goodbye. That's like, you've talked to them. You've done your thing. Sometimes I do like to see the hosts. I like to try to find the host and let the host, if there is a host specifically, then I'll try to, that's one that I would, make sometimes a point to say goodbye, unless we've just talked to the host. But I feel like once you've talked to somebody at an event and you move to talk to another group of people or somebody else, that's the goodbye. That's, I feel like I don't expect anyone else to come back to find me to say goodbye. So I feel like that's how I see it. And that's why when I'm done at an event, I feel like I can just leave because I've seen the people I want to see, they've seen me, and that's good. But I know some people think it's nice to say goodbye to. And so Andrew is one of those people. He likes to run around and make sure he says his goodbyes. And sometimes there are things like making sure you get everyone's social media if you didn't, and that kind of thing nowadays too, which is good, because sometimes we don't get that during the conversation. Um, ba, ba, ba. Let's see. Sue says, now the cat is trying to keep me from typing by swatting my hand. That's funny. Mary says, depends on the bank, I think. Probably. Cameron says, "Exactly, William. Don't want to conjure them. I know, right?" It's funny. We were talking about somebody um, just on this live. We were talking about somebody on this live the other day, um, and it was somebody. It was our friend Damiana, and there are two Damianas that we know in life. And the one we haven't heard from in a long time, she used to help us out at the store with some things, and we haven't heard from her in a long time. She went off to college, all that good stuff. And Andrew said she just popped up today for him. So it was, I think you speak the name and sometimes it brings them forward. Andrew says Barnaby has crashed out in front of the heater. Nice. Andrew says I looked at hotels for Venice and it's not too bad. You can stay at like a 4-star hotel for like $100. That's nice. That's great. How much longer are you staying after the workshop? Asked Marianne. We are staying for an extra week. Um, so we're gonna be there a total of like 2 weeks. The workshop is 1 week, and we'll stay for like an extra week, I think, after the workshop. Um, well, 5 days, like a work week. But we also will be there 2.5 days early, I think. So we're getting like a week's time, a few days to get there and kind of get our bearings before he starts the workshop. Then he has his workshop, and then we'll have 5 days, like 5.5 days or so. Um, we have to get our plane on that 6th day. So yeah. Susan says a cooking tour of Italy would be cool. So many different cooking styles. Yeah, there's apparently a really good, highly rated class right in Certaldo, or at least very close to it, that a lot of people have taken and given really good reviews of. I don't know what it costs. I don't know how you get in. I haven't looked that far, but I keep seeing it. Like I keep looking up things to do in Certaldo, and because it's a small town, um, there's not tons known, to do. Boccaccio lived there and he wrote the Decameron. We have not watched the Decameron on, I think it's on Netflix now, but he wrote that, and they think the Canterbury Tales were influenced by that, if you don't know what the hell that is. So that is his town. And so his house is there and it's a little museum. So I'll probably go see that. We'll probably look at that. And there are a few little things. There's like a nail museum. Some guy collected a bunch of different kinds of old nails, and there's a nail museum. I think there's a very old, if not the oldest, woman's shoe somewhere in there. There's a few religious museums and things like that around. Um, and then there's this cooking class that everybody raves about, with this woman and her two sons that do this cooking class. So I don't know if we'll get a chance to take that. I don't know what it costs. I don't know any of that, how long it is, but we'll see. We'll see. Hello, Sandra. Thanks for joining in. Um, Susan says, I've wondered how Americanized Italian differs from the real deal. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that we're not going to be in an area, I think, that's going to be very Americanized. We're very I feel like it's a small town. It's like when I was in France, I stayed in the south with a family in a very small town, and no one spoke English there. Even the family I stayed with did not speak English. So um it was, well, their daughter, one person spoke some English because she was part of the wine tourism board. But that was it. And you go to the grocery store, no one at the checkout spoke English. No one. So I feel like I have a feeling it might be a little like that. I don't know. Andrew's mentor can tell us more, but I think our Italian is not going to be Italian enough. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes getting by. Now, if we go to the bigger cities, I'm sure we'll be fine. I was referring to the cooking styles. Oh yeah, that would be interesting. I'm just waiting to see the food and how different the food itself is, even if it's not learning to cook. Um, Andrew says the extra week is our honeymoon. Yeah, that extra week is how we're spending our honeymoon, because we never had a honeymoon when we got married. We married during the pandemic. Many of you know, many of you watched it live. And so we never had an actual honeymoon. So the extra week we're staying to do that. And that's why we tacked on a few extra days, so that we can do something together and just kind of be together for that. Andrew says, I don't know how intense the workshop will be. One of the participants has a chronic illness, so she can't expend a lot of energy. Yeah, I don't know what all you're doing. I haven't even heard what all you're planning or doing or how long each day it's going to be. I don't know. So I don't know how much time I'm going to have to myself and how much time um, we'll be doing things. And I know there are going to be other spouses there, apparently. So maybe I'll hang out with some other people from the US. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. I hear they're going like mountain biking or something, and that's not my thing. So we'll see what's going to happen. Um, let's see here. Try not to see too many places. Venice could be a full day or more, in Florence as well. Yeah, that's we're gonna take day trips to places, and if we can, I think that's the plan. That's what we've kind of talked about: taking the day trips by train, get up early, take a train, see what we can see during the day, and take a train back home, or stay there if it's feasible, or necessary. But that's kind of what we're planning to do. Um, Anderson, I can ask my mentor tomorrow about things to do there. Good. Um, at least it's not a fingernail museum, right? No, 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 no. Hey, Vicky, by the way, thanks for joining us. Andrew says, I think we should do work for our honeymoon, source materials for the shop. LOL. Of course he does. Of course he does. Of course we will. I mean, we're going to be doing things. And Andrew, I know, wants to see lots of different markets and see if we can find things for the store, and whether it's in store, online store, do some lives with some things that we maybe find at markets. We'll see. We'll see. And Marianne says, a lot of Europeans do speak English, but appreciate you making an attempt to speak their language. Yeah. When I was in Paris, um, as long as I tried to speak French, every single person replied to me, except maybe one or two. Everybody replied to me in English. When I started, they knew obviously that I was not French. So my accent was not that good. It had gotten better since staying there, but it was not that good. And so they knew, they thought I was from the UK, actually, from England. Whatever my accent sounded like to most people, they asked me, are you from England? Um, but they would flip immediately to English to make it easy on me and probably easier on them. Um, so uh, that I kind of got used to. I tried to practice my French in Paris and I couldn't. I just they Now in some of the restaurants, some people in the restaurants weren't as good with English, so they did speak to me in French, but most of the places I went to, I couldn't get a French speaker to speak French to me. But if I started in English, um, that was very rude, and they were not as likely to help me, which I didn't do. I think I did like accidentally once. Um, and then I realized, okay, we've got to start speaking in French, and then we'll go from there. Um, I did that on the way. When I first entered, I got to the train station in Paris and I started speaking English, and they were like, don't you speak French? Because I asked them if they speak English. And they were like, don't you speak French? And then I tried, and then they understood that I was trying, and then they were very helpful. But when I came back to Paris at the end and spent a few days there, I was much more fluent in French from staying with the family I was with, and much more used to speaking it. So I wasn't as intimidated. And I would speak in French, and then I couldn't get them to speak to me in French. They just flipped to English. So the Italian, we will try, obviously, but our Italian is not anywhere near what I would like mine to be but when is it ever, right? It's always intimidating, I think, trying to speak another language to people who speak that. That's why I give people a lot of props who come here and, do their best to speak English, no matter how, little they know. If they're trying, it's always very much appreciated. And if I know their language, I'll try and speak back to them, even if I'm not great at it. I think it's that working together, trying to, work with each other. That's what it's about. Um, I had an old boss who used to clip his nails in the office. I used to find, oh, that's terrible, Susan. Um, Sanders says, I think portions there will be small compared to US portions. I don't know. I've been watching these movies about Italy, and their portions look pretty generous. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll find out. Um, Andrew says they're not all from the US. Neela is from the Netherlands. Oh, from your group. Nice. Marion says trains are usually very good. Yeah, from what I remember when I went to France, the train to the south was very nice, and fast. The TGV, um, very nice, very fast, and um, and I've ridden the Amtrak here in the U.S. and it's not as easy to use as in European countries, but it is still nice. I like riding the train a lot, actually. I wish we had more trains around here that were passenger trains because it would be nice to jump on a train and go to like Pittsburgh for the day. And I would like that, but we can't do that around here easily and not inexpensively. Kimberly says that makes it a business trip. I know. Of course, it's going to be a business. It is a business trip because it's already like professional development, but we will also be buying things, I'm sure, from the store. Marianne says at least say bonjour when arriving at a shop and s'il vous plaît to thank them. Right? That's yeah. When I was in France, that's what we did. And buongiorno now, right? Buongiorno and ciao and all that good stuff. Grazie, right? We're learning all that. Andrew says the Duolingo isn't going to cut it. I just did 300 days, but it's not enough. No, no. Oh, yeah. I always try and learn a little bit of a language when I know I'm going to be speaking with somebody. I make an effort. Um, like if we had friends in college and they spoke something else, I would try to learn a little bit. Um, I just think it's nice, and especially if you're going to that country, like I've not gone to a lot of other countries, but it's always been my opinion that if you're going to another country, at least learn a few things. Like, hello, how are you? Like you said, Marianne. Because it's nice, right? To show them that you respect them enough to try. You may not know much more than that, but at least there's that. um and like then you can find your way past that. We've got translations on our phones now. If we need to do that, we can do that. Andrew says I can read a little and understand it, but speaking I don't have hardly any practice. Yeah, we don't have a lot of practice speaking. Um and of course they're going to be speaking a lot faster than Duolingo does, uh, or what is going to sound faster to us. And we were watching that Emily in Paris, and they were in Rome, and they started speaking Italian, and Andrew was like, "Is that how fast they're going to be speaking?" I was like, "Yes, right." Um, yeah. So, but we'll get by. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I can read more Italian than I can probably speak, just because knowing other languages. Um, there's a lot of crossover between Spanish and French. Usually I can make out, I may not know the verb tenses or if it's saying was or were or in the past or present, but I can generally make out a lot of um, vocabulary. So we'll do our best. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. I'm getting there anyway. But yeah, today, did I get my, I didn't really, I do have some papers here. Like I said, today's going to be a pretty low key day. We're not going to have a lot of expensive stuff today. We're doing some charms and we're doing a few strands of some things. Um, that strands, just I picked out some other things. Nothing super I think the most expensive thing is like $20 today. Most things are going to be much lower than that, especially the new arrivals. They're nice and inexpensive, so these new charms, I think you're going to like them. So we're going to do that. We're going to do a few things. I think we're going to do 30 or 35 lots today. I don't even know if we're going to get to 40. Um, we're just going to ease into the week today. And yeah, that's because we haven't eaten yet. So that's one of those things. What y'all have to eat today? I think I picked up, we're going to do tater tots and eggs. I'm going to make some tater tots and saute some onions and make some tater tots. And we were going to do potatoes and eggs. And then Andrew's like, ooh, tater tots sound good. So I think we're going to do tater tots and eggs, unless he's down there making something. But I don't smell food. So I don't think he's changed that decision. So we're gonna be eating that. I'm gonna bake some tater tots in the oven and scramble some eggs. And Andrew says, I'm doing dishes now. Good, good, getting ready for it. So I think that's the plan. Onions, tater tots, and eggs with some cheese and ketchup. I think it's gonna be pretty good. Susan says that's what we had today. Sans onions, nice. Yeah, I was deciding whether I'm actually going to do the onions or not. Because I don't know, could be good without the onions too. That's funny. I had the same idea. Um, I was craving a Philly cheesesteak, so I got Philly cheesesteak hot pockets. Nice, Kimberly. Barnaby is not a fan of the new light bulbs. I don't think I'm a fan of the new light bulbs. We got new light bulbs, and I was asking Andrew if he wanted the daylight ones or the soft white ones. And I know he usually likes them bright. So I got the daylight ones. I usually like the soft light. And he usually tells me I buy light bulbs that are too yellow or too soft. So I went with daylight ones. And they're for him to work under. So it makes sense. But they are on my side of the living room. The two that blew out are on my side. I think we're going to have to change them to flip the softer ones to my side of the living room and the bright ones to his side of the living room, because they are way bright for me. It is very bright in the living room on my side of the living room. Um, let's see here. Susan says along with veggie sausage. Oh, nice. Veggie sausages would be good too. I didn't think about that. Maybe I should have picked up some sausages. That would have just made everything longer too. I was trying to do something that's quick, so we can put it together. But I also got ramen noodles, and it could just be a ramen noodle night. I don't know. We'll see. Marion says Shanghai noodles with carrots, red peppers, green onion, and shrimp in a little faux broth. Nice. That's fancy. Breakfast as dinner is a fairly easy meal, right? I make a breakfast casserole using tater tots. So yummy. Yeah, I love it. I love tater tots. Norma had chicken salad, croissants, and potatoes. Nice. That sounds really good. All right, so we're going to take a look at these. I'm going to be pricing these as we go because I did my costing on them, but I did not do the actual pricing. So we're going to get out the calculator here, and we're going to be pricing these as we go. So sorry about that, but that's the way it's got to be today. Get this over here. Let's move this over. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's flip this camera around and I'll show you what we've got. Let's see here. Okay. Come on, camera. Sorry, everybody. It took my camera away when I tried to switch the camera. Let's try this again. Wow. There we go. There we go. Andrew says, I learned of hot dish, but not for tonight. Suzanne says, Andrew, I'll pass on the hot dish. One of our favorite pans got something burnt on it. Yeah, it got something burnt on it, so he's been trying to clean it and get the burnt thing off. It was a nice nonstick pan until it got super extra burnt. Okay. Andrew says, I don't know, pretty good how I make it. Yeah, Andrew's hot dishes are pretty good, I will say. I will say. He should be making the dinner tonight, but I'm trying to save him time so he can work on his project and not have to worry too much. All right. Let me check. Let's see here. Um, I don't think I've ever used this. Okay. NAF is going to be new arrivals and favorites. That's what it's going to be called today. Lennon says, I'm cold, so I had soup. Nice. Soup sounds good. It was nice and warm here today, but now it's chilly. It's getting very chilly. I had to drop off things at UPS today, so I went over to the UPS store and I stopped at Starbucks on the way. So I'm having a Starbucks coffee as a treat today. We don't often have that. Suzanne had corn chowder. Ooh, that sounds good. Andrew says, I'm almost done with the majority of the sculpture, but it's the fiddly parts now. And Norma loves, says, it is good soup weather. Yes, it is. It is. Okay. Let me get into here. And all right. And let's see here. Okay. We're going to, off of the new arrivals today, I'll just do it off of everything. We're going to give you an extra 10% off of everything today. So we usually do that with well, not usually, but we have been doing that with our new arrivals, but I'll even do it with the favorites tonight. So you're going to get an extra 10% off everything tonight unless you want to opt out. So if you would like to opt out of that, you can send us an email to say you opt out of the discount, but otherwise we'll be giving you a 10% discount tonight off of everything. And let's see here. Da, da, da. Let's see here. What are we doing? All right. Susan loves croissants. Talking about croissants. Me too. Andrew says, I listened to The Incandescent by Emily Tesh, and it was pretty good. Kimberly says, it really is good soup weather. I may need to have my hubby get some soup stuff for tomorrow night. Maybe red beans and rice. Nice. I just ordered some soup. My mom, my nephew is raising money for his hockey things again, and we just ordered some. It's mostly like freeze dried things to make soup out of, and then you add other ingredients. So we have some soup, some of those things coming. It probably is not going to be here until we get back from Italy, though. It's 53 here and supposed to rain all night, says Sandra. Is Anne watching? I know she likes the steel pieces. I haven't seen Anne pop up here yet, so we've got some people opting out of the discount. Thank you so much. I just finished T. Kingfisher's Sworn Soldier series, says Suzanne. All right, so let's go. Let me do this here. Whoops. Oh no. Wow, I didn't know that happened. I went to hit clear for my calculator and I was in my email, and Clear actually deletes emails. Who knew that? I didn't know that the Clear on the keyboard deleted emails. So these are $2.50 each. We have 6 of them. And let me see here. I have to get these off of the spiral here. $2.50 each. Lena says, I didn't know about the discount thing. Sometimes I watch with no sound. That's all right. You get the discount if automatically if we offer one that night, and you can always opt out if you want to. So these are these beautiful little, these are stainless steel, beautiful stainless steel charms. And these are a 2 cherry charm, super cute. And I'm already putting my fingerprints all over this one, but they're $2.50 each. And there are 6 of them available. Let me see, where's my calipers? There they are. This is NAF1. These are $12, $12, 12.5 millimeters by about 14.5 millimeters. Andrew says, I just finished her mushroom horror books, but they're only okay. Suzanne says, I've not read those. Andrew says, I love that one. Apparently she's working on one for Marcus. And Andrew says, they need to have the kids sell the ramen bay. I know, right? Kimberly says, is he still selling? If so, is there a link? I would buy a couple mixes. I have to ask my mom. I think orders needed to be in, but let me ask her if I can. I don't know if she's watching. She hasn't been able to watch the lives because she's been doing a lot with the kids lately. Let me ask her right now. See what she says. Thank you all for that anyway. Let's see here. Catch up now. Okay, talking about the books. I don't have to, y'all are chatting back and forth. That's good. They are well written. Andrew says, just didn't get into the main characters. NAF2. This is going to be a little bit slower, like I said, because I'm doing pricing as we go. So let me just check on this, y'all. All right. Remember, you're getting 10% off of each of these. And unless you opt out. NAF2. So I can get this open. These are $2.75 each. And they're these cute, cute little mushrooms. And these are 14 karat gold plated enameled charms. 14 karat gold, approximately 12 by 16 millimeters. Mushroom charms. $2.75 each. 6 of them available. Marianne's going to switch to the TV. Thank you, Marianne. And let's see here. NAF3. These are these stainless steel charms. I know a lot of you like these. I think they're super cool. Andrew said those mushrooms are adorable, right? And these are $2.50 each. And these are approximately 7 by 12 millimeter strawberries. Enameled strawberry charms. Super cute. $2.50 each. 6 of those available. NAF3. Lots of little charms today. It's going to be heavy on the charms. The charms make great earring and bracelet charms, says Andrew. Yeah, they're great for earrings. Super inexpensive, especially you're getting the 10% discount on everything too. So these will be introductory prices with the 10% discount. And let's see here. They're soft enamel too, Andrew says, by the way. Yeah, if they were the vitreous enamel, they'd be a lot more than the $2.50 or $2.75. Next up, NAF4, $2.75 each. We've sold one of the NAF2s. Thank you so much. These are a 14 karat gold plated strawberry. So the 14 karat gold is a little bit more expensive. They were $250 for the plain silver in stainless steel. And then the 14 karat gold goes up a little bit to $275 each. Not much at all. Under $6, you could have a nice little pair for earrings. Cute, cute little charms. 14 karat gold plated ones there. Let's see here. Let's do my math. We've sold 2 of 2. We've sold 2 of 4. Thank you so much. NAF 5, $2.35 each. These are the 14 karat gold Tree of Life coin. 14 karat gold plated Tree of Life little charm. Somebody was asking for a Tree of Life the other day. These are approximately 8 by 10 millimeters. Andrew said those remind me of strawberry shortcake, right? We've just sold 2 more of 4. So we only have 2 of these ones left. And we have 3 of number 2 left so far. Thank you so much. NAF 5. So NAF. Let's see here. Let's move on to NAF 6. And NAF 6. These are super nice. I love these. Now, these are 18 karat gold, 18 karat gold plated. And they're these beautiful moths. 18 karat gold plated moths, 6 of these, $2.95 each only. When you think about this, these look really pretty and they look similar to the bronze ones that we bring in. The bronze ones would be much more, and they usually are, between like probably $6 to $9 each. When you have these beautiful 18 karat gold plated stainless steel, and they're $2.95 each. Hello, Anne, by the way. Anne says, I'm here, but Daniel Tiger is not happy I'm on the computer. Well, hello, Anne. We've got other cats not making it so easy to be on the computer today, huh, Susan? Andrew says, I used to make jewelry for burlesque dancers, and one of them was really into rockabilly, and I used to make so many cherry themed earrings. Nice. We've just sold 2 of the 6s. We've sold 2 more of the 2, so there's only 1 NAF2 left. Only 1 of those left. Most people are buying in pairs. You can buy in pairs if you want to, but we're pricing them each so that you can decide. So we have 1 of these left. Somebody bought 1. So you can choose your own adventure that way. And remember, if you're just joining us, we're giving you 10% off of all of these prices automatically tonight, unless you opt out. If you'd like to send us an email saying you're opting out, sometimes people don't need the discount. They don't care about the discount. They just want us to make sure as a small business we get all the money. You can go ahead and send us an email, but don't feel like you have to do that. We are giving you the discount because we want to. So you choose your own adventure tonight. The NF1 would have been great for those earrings, says Andrew Wright. Yeah, I'm surprised only, oh no, actually 4 of the NFA ones now have sold. Yeah, so there's only 2 of those left. We've just sold another 2 of the NAF6s, so there's only 2 of those left. And says it would also be cute to have a charm bracelet or necklace made of various singles. Yeah, absolutely. And like this one, for example, just put that on a little gold chain because this is the gold one. Put it on a little gold chain and be done. That'd be such a cute little pendant, just a sweet little pendant. So yeah, nothing wrong with that, right? Let's see here. Okay. And there's pretty much 6 of everything tonight. So if I forget to write it down, there's pretty much 6 of everything. Next one up. These are 255. This is going to be the silver version of that moth that I just showed you in gold. The gold's always a little bit more expensive, but this is, and when I say silver, it's silver colored. This is stainless steel. They're not plated in silver. They're just stainless steel. It's really pretty and super duper light. So there are those. These are approximately 12.5 by 24 millimeters. Andrew says, quick gifts for the holidays. Yeah, these would make spectacular gifts for the holidays, right? Susan says, Anne, I would love to find out what goes on in their tiny little heads, right? And says Susan Hutt, Daniel just crawls on the keyboard or tilts the laptop screen out of the way. It's funny. That's funny. All right. Let's see here. Next up. Some of these are priced similarly, so I know these are going to be also $2.95. NAF8. These are so nice. These are 18 karat gold plated bees on stainless steel. 18 karat gold plated bees, approximately 12 by 20 millimeters. That's a really cool bee, by the way. Just saying. Andrew makes a good point. The stainless steel makes them nice and sturdy. It also makes them hypoallergenic for the bare steel. The steel is surprisingly lightweight. Yeah, they are super lightweight. We've sold 2 of 7 so far. Thank you so much. Susan says the stainless steel charms are great, right? We've just sold 2 of 8 as well. Thank you so much. We've just sold 1 more of the 8, so we're down to 3 of those available. We have NAF 9 coming up. These are going to be, there's a theme here, the silver version of the bee. Tried to keep these kind of in order for y'all. When you see a gold version, if we have it, there's going to be a silver version. It's the natural stainless steel. And that's the B. Same as 8. Same size, just not gold plated. Kimberly says, bugs. I knew you'd like bugs, right? We just sold 2 more of the 8. So there's only 1 8 left. We've just sold 2 of the 9s. Thank you so much. Suzanne says, I like stainless, but some folks sneer at it. Some folks are gonna sneer at anything, right? You got to go with what you like, do what you like to do, and not worry about them, right? Anderson seems like they need to take the stick out of their peaches, right? Yeah, you just got to go with what you like to do. Ain't got time to worry about other people, right? Trying to get that way in my life. All right. See, we've done the bees. Let's move those out of the way. Not that they were in the way. Actually, one moment. I'm going to get. Oh, there's one. Kind of cleaned up a little bit, and I had all these jewelry rings. I'm going to try and put these back on the ring. They come off a ring. I'm trying to put them back on a ring as we go, so that it's a little less messy. And then I'm a master. I probably maybe shouldn't do this. Sorry, y'all. It's always easier when there's 2 people when we're kind of pricing as we go like this. I wanted to get them done beforehand, but I probably made 18 trips outside today to various places. You ever have a day like that? It feels like just as soon as you walk back into the house, you forgot something and you got to go back out. That was me today. Okay. Suzanne says, right. And Anders says, also, precious metals market is wackadoodle. So good luck, right? All right. I think this is one of the most expensive ones we're going to have tonight. Not quite. There's one more that's a little bit more. NAF 10, $3.05 each, a whole $3.05 each. These are the gold plated version. And these are the gold plated snake, 18 karat gold plated snake charm over stainless steel. And $3.05 each only for a gold plated charm. I think that's a really good deal. These are approximately 15 millimeters and super nice. NAF 10. I think I can do one more row. These are so small. Let me move these up. We've just sold 2 of the 10s. Thank you so much. Yeah, these are things that they're great for just putting on a chain, great for making into earrings. So many good uses. Just putting on a charm bracelet. Super easy to use these and super great pricing on these as well. Okay, let's see. We've sold another 2 of the 10. Thank you so much. And Couldn't do the gold without the silver snake, right? So next up is the 15 millimeter silver stainless steel snake charm without the gold plating. $2.55 each. 6 of them available. We've just already sold 2 of the 11s. Thank you so much. Somebody's catching on to the method, to the madness, right? Or else your niche just very fast. Okay. These are the most expensive charms of the night. And wait till you see. They're going to be $3.40 each. Blowing the budgets here, y'all. Kimberly says, I prep my email. That's a good idea. We've just sold 3, 4, 5 of the 11s. 5 of the 11s. There's only 1 left. All right. Next up, birds. Owls. We've got, these are $3.40 each only. Andrew says, I love these. They're like all the YA book covers. The snakes, right? Yeah. And then you've got the owl. And that is NAF 12, $3.40 each. Less your 10% unless you opt out. Remember, you're all getting a 10% discount tonight unless you opt out of that discount. And these are 33.5 by 26, it's telling me, apparently. 18 karat gold plated stainless steel. They are pressed out. They're like indented in the back, right? They're not two-sided, but they are nice for $3.50 or 40 cents. Not even 50 cents. $3.40. All right, and then let's see here. Next up, I bet you can guess. NAF 13, $2.95 each. Andrew says that keeps the weight down. Yeah, it does, right? Keeps the weight down. Yeah, most of these are not two-sided, right? The cutout ones obviously are. But most of them are, like the enameled ones are plain metal on the back. And these are the silver owls, NAF 13, $2.95 each. We've sold 2 of those already. We've sold another 1 and 2 if we have them. I got to make sure. We do, and I think we do. I think we had just 1 more of that left. So we've sold out of number 2 now, I believe. And we have, I think, 3 left of 1. Cherries. I'm surprised. Those cherries. I don't know if we got the. Yes, we didn't get the gold cherries, huh? No gold cherries, just the silver cherries. I don't know if they had gold cherries. All right. And NAF 14, back to the $3.40 each. NAF 14. Whoa, come back here. I love this. This kind of sun and moon motif. This 18 karat gold stainless steel 18 karat gold plated charm. This is a bigger one. This is pretty thick. Nice, a little bit heavier, 20 millimeters approximately. This has a little bit more weight to it, so if you're using it as its own pendant, it should, it could definitely stand up and be its own kind of pendant. It has enough weight on the chain. If you're using it on a slimmer chain, that is. And that's NAF 14, $3.40 each. NAF 15. Andrew says, I was going to have some of my Krampus turned into a soft enamel pin, but it might be too late for this year. Might be. Someone said they were looking for celestial themes. Yeah, right. We just sold one of the 14 so far. Thank you so much. NAF 15 then is the silver celestial theme. Same size, 20 millimeters approximately, but in the stainless steel. That's really pretty, I think. $3.05 each. 6 of those available. I love on these how it's the inside is kind of almost like a frosted look. It's like it's not shiny. I think it gives it a really cool look. It's NAF 15. All right, I'm trying to think how I can do this. I have a few more of these to show you, and then we're going to move on to some of the favorite things I picked. We'll see if I want those. We just sold one of the 15s. Thank you so much. But putting these away, I don't have separate bags for each of these, except the bags they came in, and they're kind of too small for my labels. So, I'm just going to move them off to the side. Let's do this carefully and with intention. Okay. Because the last thing I want to have to do is rewatch the video myself to see all these prices from my spreadsheet. But I need to make some room. I need to bring more bags here is what I need to do. Okay. This is maybe fold the label. I can't fold the label because then I can't read it easily to make the spreadsheet. I try and make the spreadsheet as easy as can be for myself so that I don't have to flip through bags. This will be good. Andrew said there should be big bags. Yeah, once I'm done, they'll go in bigger bags anyway. But I can move them off to the side. They're okay here for now. I just have to not be my normal super messy self. Today is Idabelle Day. Yeah, apparently it's Black Cat Appreciation Day. Who knew? Did you know? So it's Idabelle Appreciation Day today. And let's see here. These are $3.05 each. 6 of them available. Suzanne knew. Have you all been appreciating your black cats today? We've got bugs. NAF 16. Look at those scarab beetle. those beetle ones, beetle coins. And these are the 18 karat gold stainless steel, over a stainless steel, 13.5 by 17 millimeters approximately. Beetle charms. Andrew says the cats have been tiptoeing around the coffee table and being butt heads. Instead of walking on the ground, they're like, let's bulldoze things on the coffee table. Yeah, they have been doing that. I don't know why. Today they're suddenly doing that. NAF 17. Andrew says scarabs. Yeah, scarab beetle, scarabs. And next up, 17 is, of course, the silver, the plain stainless steel version. Kimberly says, love scarabs, right? Andrew's asking, did you all see the necklace from the new Frankenstein movie? Says, I think it's from Tiffany's. I have not. Susan says, I have two gray cats who are actually black cats. A specific gene masks the black. How about that? So NEF 17, that's the silver version of the gold one we showed you in 16. NAF 18, coming up soon. NAF 18, 305 each. These are really cool. We've sold 3 of the 17s so far. Thank you so much. 2 of the 16s so far. This is the gold B coin. 18 karat plated over stainless steel. Approximately 13.5 millimeters. Gold B. And the last of the charms, the new arrivals tonight, NAF 19, and this is going to be 255 each, and it's going to be the silver B. Reminds me of the Starless Sea books. All right. And this is 19, is this plain stainless steel silver charm, $2.55 each. 6 of those available. NAF 19. We've sold 4 of the 18s. So far, 2 of the 19s. All right. Let me move these off to the side. And now we're going to go into the things that I found here in the office that I like. And we're going to show you those. And we're still giving you the extra 10% discount on all the prices so that it makes my spreadsheet easy. I don't have to just discount certain things. Okay. Suzanne says the Golbees remind me of the Louvre robbery. Okay, let's see. Where are we at? Okay. NAF 20. $8. This is one of Andrew's polymer clay creations. This is made by Andrew, multicolor polymer clay. And it is approximately 28.5 by 38 millimeters. This colorway available, NAF 20. I have NAF 21. Which is another one of these, this time in the orange color. Cat hair. NAF 21. $8. One of them available. I think those are super cool. They could be used for connectors, use them as a pendant. And you're still getting the 10% discount on all of these too. Let's see, what else do I have over here? We have these at 12. I'll do them at 10. And you're still going to get the discount too, off of the extra discounted price. But these are strands. We had some little white pearls, I think on Thursday. So these, I have multiples of these. I haven't counted how many I still have left. These are vintage pearls. These are in this kind of buttercream yellow color. And they're these small, kind of, they're more like a Rice Krispie, I would say. They're super cool, vintage pearls. And I just love them. So we have multiple strands of those available. They were $12, bringing them down to 10 for you, and then you're going to get the extra 10% discount unless you opted out. So you're going to get that NAF 22. NAF 23. $12. Suzanne says the pearls are very easy to work with. Yeah, I know some of y'all have some of these already. Sometimes I know people might want more, but also that's good to know. Thank you for sharing that too. You know, if we ever share things that you already have and you do have an easy time working with them, or you want to say what you did with them, you can always do that. This is a little notebook kind of thing that Andrew created, NAF 23. Little kind of ACT sized notebook. And he did draft board on the back, and then the front also had that. Oops. Well, that's no good. That one just cracked. That sucks. Well, never mind, y'all. Sorry. It got brittle. I don't know why. And it came right off. Well, let's change that then. Sorry about that. NAF 23. Let's change it to something else. We have these items by Andrew. We have these polymer pieces. At one point, Andrew did them $15 for the whole lot. So we're going to do that on these. These are these beautiful iridescent, they have like a purple iridescence on them. And they're these polymer clay pieces by Andrew. You get 6 of them for $15 plus the 10% discount. And these are all different sizes, but that's about 19 by 23 on that one. We sold one of the 22 so far. Thank you so much. And let's see here. We had this at 8, but let's bring this down to 6. This is NAF 24. And this is a strawberry quartz, not real. This is a synthetic strawberry quartz heart pendant. Now only $6. And this one is about 32 by 32. It's really pretty. Nice pendant. Great for Halloween. Not Halloween. Valentine's Day. Great for Halloween. No, Valentine's Day, y'all. Never too early to prepare, right? And let's see, what else do I have here? This was 12. I'll bring it down to 10. Kim says, I think that's cherry quartz. Strawberry is a natural stone. Yes, you can call it cherry quartz. I've seen synthetic strawberries too. But yeah, you're right. They usually do call it a cherry quartz. Susan says, great for Halloween too, right? I don't think I'm going to get it to you before Halloween, but there's always next year. Or for those of you who celebrate. This is a beautiful sardonyx pendant. It's drilled that way, side to side at the top. A beautiful pendant etched on the flat side. You can use it on the flat or the rounded, however you'd like to do it. If you want to see the hand etching, you can use it on that side or spin it around and use it on that side. $10 only now. And this is 75 and a half, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, whew, by 51 and a half. This is, oh wow, that is really cool. I think it's a beautiful pendant, right? Really pretty. NAF 25. And that one is sold. Thank you so much. I'll take that away so it doesn't tease anybody out there. All right. NAF 26. This was $8. I'm going to do it for 7. I don't want to go too low on these. I really like these. I think they're nice. These are vintage Czech glass beads. And these are kind of like, I don't know, a fern or I don't know what kind of design. But they're a black and they're kind of shiny on the insets, but matte on the outside. I really like these. You're getting 2, 4, 6, 8 beads on a strand, and each bead's about 10 by 29 millimeters. One strand of those left, at least that I could find here. NAF 26. Let's see here. How's everybody doing? Thank you all for hanging out. Anybody new here that hasn't said hi yet? Let me know. If you're just joining us tonight. Next up, a little bit. NAF 27. And oh, I thought I cut it. You must have cut the wrong place. I do have 2 of these available. And these are these beautiful vintage glass strands in the yellow faceted rectangles. They're nice long strands. Where's my ruler? Nice and bright. 12, about 14-inch strands. And they're approximately, say 10 by about 15 millimeters. Sorry, 10 by 15 millimeters. NAF 27. They were $24. Bring them down to $21. Before your extra 10%, you'll get an extra 10% off of those. Got 2 strands available. Those beautiful clear with the bright yellow. If you like yellow beads, sometimes they're not easy to find. This is a nice bright yellow bead. This is a vintage glass. I am not sure if it's Czech or not. I think with a strand this size, it is not, is my guess. But we've got 2 of those available. NAF 28. Do this at 12. NAF 28. Beautiful shell. And these are these kind of not quite diamonds, teardrops. I don't know what you want to call them. They're about 14 and a half by 20 and a half. It's a beautiful color, beautiful strand. Only 1 available. I think I pulled this at one point because I was going to make something out of it, and I never did. And that's why it's still here in the office. These are, it's a 16-inch strand. Kimberly says they look eye-shaped. Almond. Yeah, I would say that. That's a good shape name. They do kind of look like eyes. We could do some fun things with that probably. But yeah, and they're approximately 2 millimeters thick. So super nice and light. Only $12 for that strand. NAF 28. Okay. Let's see here. This 16. Let's bring it down to 12. This is a vintage synthetic quartz, synthetic smoky quartz strand in this teardrop drop shape, faceted. Get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drops on there. They are glass, they're synthetic, but they're super pretty. $12 only for the strand. And these are about 19 and a half by 30. One strand available. NAF 29. My sleeve just took that one off the table. All right, let me make a little bit of room. I think I'm only going to go to 30. So we got one more to show you, and then we'll call it an evening. Today was mostly about the new stuff, right? Sometimes we don't get 30 or 40 of new things. So we also just did a lot of new stuff. So probably inundating you with too much new stuff. But we've just sold 28. Thank you so much. Take that off the table. And that gives us room to do one more, right? And NAF 30. These are strands, and I think I have 3 of these available. These are Prasiolite, and they were 26. I'm going to bring them down to 20. I've only got 3 left. Oh, we've sold one of the 27s. Thank you so much. These are Prasiolite squares. And let me show you one of the, maybe. Yeah, that's one, I think. There's what they look like. This is green amethyst. And they are approximately 4 millimeters. You get a whole strand of them. I love, love, love these. I love using them in clusters, in bracelets and necklaces, or use them as a cluster drop in an earring. Just the way they reflect light when they're together. And oops, I pulled it off the end of that strand. Apparently that knot is not big enough. It's big enough not to let me pull them back over it. All right, well, a few of those fell off. I'll make sure those get gathered up. But that gives you kind of a better idea too of what they look like. And these are nice, pretty long strands. I believe they're 16 inches, but let me check for you. Yeah, these are about 15 and a half to 16-inch strands. And there's 3 of them available. NAF 30. And that, my friends, is it for the night. We're going to stop at 30 tonight, make it a chill night. I said it was going to be chill. mostly wanted to show you those new charms and some of the things here we have around the office. If you have any questions, please send us an email, info@allegorygallery.com, and we're happy to take a look at that. And that's it. I'll be going through and doing the spreadsheet here just after I close out the live, and I'll be sending invoices after that. So, like I said, you'll get 10% off all these prices listed here today, unless you opted out. We appreciate those who do, and we thank everyone who's grabbed something. We appreciate that. If you're not able to grab anything, we understand, but we do hope you will share us with your friends, let people know, and let people know we exist. And we will see you back here tomorrow with something else, some other goodies for y'all. All right. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to go get the spreadsheet done and make some food. Have a great one, everyone. Bye now.